I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And today we're going to be talking about powerful signs that your ex misses you. Mm-hmm. What you've been waiting to hear, yeah. Right? Are they missing me? I mean, we all wonder that. It's probably one of the biggest things we think about is, are they really thinking about me? Or because I haven't heard from them, have they completely forgotten about me and completely moved on? It's so normal to think and feel that way, particularly when your ex has just been acting like they want nothing to do with you. Maybe they're cold, mean, whatever it might be. And so it's normal to feel like they aren't even thinking about me anymore. And you probably have had very little to no contact since the breakup or heard from them. Maybe you've done some reaching out, but it's likely that you haven't heard from them. So you start to think, are they really missing me? Are there any signs to know if they're missing me if I haven't heard from them? Well, we're going to talk about that today because your ex actually can do little things that are meaningful.
Right.
Even if you have been in no contact and have not had any contact with them.
Exactly. So the first thing that you want to look at is how they behave on social media. So I know many of you are probably scrutinizing their social media activity.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Any tiny little change feels devastating, even if they just change their profile picture.
But this could be a sign in the way that they interact with your page. Are they looking at your posts? I think many of us have been in situations where after a separation, you see that they're still looking at your stories or still interacting with your page somehow, or you get a random like out of nowhere. These are signs that you've at least crossed their mind.
Sure.
That you've at least crossed their feed and they have made that decision to click that button. There's no need to look into this more than just face value. However, it is a sign that they are at least thinking of you.
Sure.
Chances are they know that you can see that they've viewed their story or that you've reacted to a post. So there's nothing really secretive about it. And we do hear many of you tell us in the calls, oh, I'm not sure what's going on. I've seen that they liked one of my posts. What does this mean? So we can't read their mind.
Yeah.
But we can say that they know that you know that they saw that post.
Like sometimes people ask me, they liked my story or they liked my post. Is that an indirect direct? I wouldn't quite say that is. It's about as minimal as you could be to like somebody's post.
Yeah.
That's very minimal. I definitely would not reach out to them or say something to them simply by liking your post.
Right. And the other thing that they can do is also block and unblock you. So if you suddenly see that you've been unblocked, then that's a sign that it shows their ambivalence. It shows that they're, not sure whether to have you access their page or not.
Yep.
And I think that is telling to some degree. They still have emotional feelings about that and in the way that they're using that block feature.
I just had this happen to a guy last week. It was a gay guy, and the guy that he was dating went on vacation. He blocked him the day before the trip, but then he unblocked him like the next day. And he only posted this one story in between that it was like, why is he blocking me to hide this one particular story? And it was very odd. But I told him, look, it shows you that he thought about you enough to block you and to unblock you. And so it shows he thought about you a couple times in that period, within that couple of days. It was really quite odd. People will do these odd things that are like, this doesn't even make any sense. Why would they do that?
Yeah, exactly.
But they do. Another big thing that they do is that they still have pictures up on Facebook, on Instagram. Sometimes they even have your pictures up at their house.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to go there to pick stuff up, and you're like, wait, my pictures are up everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's so confusing, but it does show that they care about you on some level, because they could just delete them or take them down.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're leaving them up and have to see them on a regular basis, I think is telling.
Yeah, especially if they're on social media and on a public platform. It is also telling of other people who look at their profile. They're going to see that picture and not immediately know if they're available or not. So
Yeah.
I do think it's telling to some degree. Now, of course, there are people who really don't touch their social media. So you also have to know how your ex generally interacts with social media.
Yeah.
But pay attention to these types of clues.
Yeah, they can show something. Signs like they post songs. They posted a song at a concert that you went to,
Yeah.
or that it was a meaningful song, or sometimes the lyrics of the song. And, you don't know for sure that it's about you, but, is a good chance that it's
Right.
about you. So, again, it's hard not to read too much into it, but it could be a sign that they're wanting to get your attention. Now, I wouldn't reach out for that.
Right.
But it's likely that they're trying to get your attention somehow.
The other thing is that many of you might also have shared accounts. So I've heard of people having shared Spotify accounts where they can see the playlist and the ex is adding very emotional songs or something of this nature. Or if you have a similar Netflix account and they're watching all these, sad romance movies. So these are also clues to some extent to see what their emotional state is.
Yeah.
And if they've commenced the processing of the breakup.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear that Spotify one actually quite often.
Yeah.
So we don't recommend that you look at their stories because you want them to wonder what you're doing and what you're thinking about. Because many things like Instagram will tell them that you've looked.
Right.
But we ideally are hoping that they're going to look at yours.
Yeah.
Sometimes they post an item that you got them, like a piece of jewelry.
Right.
I'll see that one a lot. Or all of a sudden it's like a special piece of jewelry and now they're posting pictures of it. I think I heard sunglasses recently.
Yeah.
So all kinds of things that they do that it seems like they're trying to get your attention. But I wouldn't reach out because of those things.
Right.
Now, you also might find weird profiles looking at your stories.
Yep.
A lot of exes are spying with
Yeah.
fake Instagram accounts, particularly Instagram.
Yeah.
And so they'll watch it, or they'll even log into their friends and family's account to watch you.
That's true.
And you just don't know, but don't be surprised if they're looking through their friends and family's account or creating fake accounts. In fact, I did a poll not that long ago on my Instagram asking who had fake accounts.
Yeah.
30% of the people that answered the poll admitted that they had a fake Instagram that
That's
they
the
used
keyword.
for spying.
Admitted.
Admitted. Now, I'm sure that there was far more than that didn't want to come clean.
Yeah.
That maybe they were embarrassed. But 30% admitted. And I had a lot of comments of people saying, yeah, and the other people are lying. So that's another thing to consider. Are you getting people that you don't recognize looking at your stories?
Right.
Here's another big one. Are they asking other people about you? Like, are they contacting somebody you know and asking what's going on with you?
Yeah.
They're trying to get information. Why? There's a reason for it.
Exactly. Especially if they go out of their way to reach somebody who you know to get information about you. So this could be somebody that's quite random to them, or maybe an acquaintance to them, but a good friend to you, or maybe one of your family members. And you might hear this, oh, I saw so-and-so and they were asking about you, or they might even try to message them on social media, message family members, or, and then it'll get around to you somehow. So this can happen. And that additional effort of them seeking out those people who specifically know you shows that they're obviously thinking about you, they're asking about you, wanting to know who you're with, what you're doing. And it's not rare for the dumper to have this mindset of what are they doing, you know?
Yep. And they're taking a risk by doing that.
Yeah.
Because they know that that information is going to get back to you or suspect it.
Yeah.
So it's not quite an indirect direct because there's no direct contact with you, but it's an indirect way of obtaining information.
Right.
Obviously, a big one is if they make any kind of direct contact.
Right.
Now, I think most cases it's a more of an direct approach because they're afraid of rejection. A lot of people are afraid of rejection. So they look for an excuse to contact you. And most of the time that excuse is confusing. You're like, why would this person ask me about this? A silly question, but it's really they're looking for an excuse to contact you.
Yeah.
Honest to God, I saw this years ago and it keeps coming up. For some reason, people constantly ask about the cat.
Aw.
It's so bizarre. I can't tell you how many times people will say to me, my ex said, how's the cat? I miss the cat.
It's like it's okay for me to be attached to that little fluffy thing, but
Yeah.
it's not okay for me to be attached to you.
It's so confusing, right?
Yeah.
And it's the cat. It's not even like the dog. It's not your grandma. It's the cat for some reason. And I have it happen so often that it's ridiculous, quite honestly, what the cat is the indirect direct. But if you've had that happen, leave a comment, and you'll be surprised how many people will say, yep, they asked how the cat was.
True.
And on my Instagram, people are constantly messaging me. They keep asking about how's the cat. So
Some of you are going to get cats just to get that direct. You're going to the pet rescue right now.
So if your ex is making any excuse to reach out to you, yes, if it's business related, they might have to do it. But if it's confusing and you're like, huh? I don't understand this, it's probably because they miss you.
Right. And some exes will actually go that extra mile to stay connected with you. They might just be direct and still have that contact with you and want to slide into this type of friendship situation where you're still in their life, but only on their terms. And they get to decide when you initiate contact and when you get to speak. So this can happen. But also remember, they don't have to have that contact with you. Unless you have children together or if you have some type of business together, they are not obliged to contact you in any way. So if they are keeping up that contact, it is a sign that they do love and care about you. Now, we will advise against staying friends with an ex if you're trying to get them back. And we have plenty of other videos on that you can check out. But do know that if they do want to keep that contact, it's a definite sign that they do care about you, they do appreciate you as a valuable member in their life.
Yeah, they miss the connection.
Yeah.
And it's normal, but they're scared of rejection too, because if they haven't heard from you in a while, then they're probably afraid that you don't want to talk to them anymore, that you're angry at them. So they're scared of rejection too.
Exactly.
One of the biggest signs is that your ex is trying to see you in person.
Yes. Yeah.
Are they making an effort to see you in person? And sometimes people will even say something like if you have to get stuff at their place, they'll want to be there when you go get the stuff. And they're going out of their way to be there. And it's likely because they want to have some kind of interaction with you. Because if they really didn't, they would just avoid it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one thing to look for. Do they show up to places where they think you'll be? That happens.
Yeah.
Go to the gym at a certain time when they think you're going to go, or a store, or near your work. I remember a guy not that long ago that the girlfriend was walking by the shop that he owned, and it was clear she was trying to get his attention.
Yeah. Also, do they look for excuses to see you? So this could be sticking around longer than they have to. Like Craig mentioned, the picking up the stuff. They might even leave stuff purposefully or not pick up stuff for a while purposefully just to have that type of connection to you, to have some type of a reason to come back and see you and to pick things up.
Sometimes it's even, I had this recently, an ex was contacting him about petty things that was still at the place. And even though he said, I don't want anything else, don't worry about it, she still kept reaching out about those things. So that was interesting. Or if they're contacting you for things that you want, number one, know that you don't have, or things that you don't know that they don't really want back, that just excuses.
Right. And it is really hard. I think that final step of taking back all your stuff from the person's house, it's like the final straw almost, like you're pulling away your last items that you have connected with each other.
Yeah.
So that could be a very difficult step, even for the dumper. And I don't think people really realize that, but really to take back all your things is like saying, you know, I'm moving out of this place, but I'm also moving out of your life. And some people just aren't ready for that, and they have that post-breakup ambivalence still. So that really is a sign that they miss you and that they value you in their life.
Yeah. You know, it's like a transitional object a lot of times where we can hold on to something because it makes us feel close to somebody.
Exactly.
So, yes, there is an element of that they still care. Here's another big one. And by the way, if you haven't had these yet, don't sweat it.
Right.
Because many of these come down the line. These aren't things that happen right away. In a breakup. It takes a while to get to these things.
Right. And conversely, don't take one of these and think, oh my God, my ex is in love with me again.
Yeah.
So take everything with a grain of salt and just know that these are signs that you're crossing your ex's mind, that they haven't forgot about you.
Okay, another big one that you really want to look at is how are they acting around you? Has their attitude warmed up? Are they more relaxed? Are they laughing at your jokes? That's a big one. Have they stopped blaming you?
Yeah.
Have they shifted in that attitude of this is all your fault into taking some responsibility?
Yeah.
Are they apologizing to you for what went wrong?
Yeah.
And taking some accountability for the problems in the relationship? That's a great sign that they're now seeing that they were part of the problem. It's not all your fault. And they're seeing that the relationship for what it was and not all about blaming and you're this and you're that. So that's a good sign right there.
Right. And if you still do have contact with your ex and you are still seeing them in person, how are they dressed up around you? Sometimes you'll even see when the ex does come by to pick up the stuff, for example, they'll be very nicely dressed because they know you're going to see them.
Hair and makeup are done.
Yeah. They might also wear something that you bought them.
That's another one.
Or maybe a type of perfume that they know that you like or an outfit that you liked. So these things can be purposefully crafted because they know that they're going to be around you. So pay attention to these signs. Of course, we don't want you to get overly anxious and scrutinize even more than you probably already are. But we thought we would put this out there just for you to be aware of.
Yeah, these are just things that we see often, just a general thing. You probably have specific examples of things that you've seen, unusual things. But if there's any kind of contact with you and your attitude is warmer, they're making an effort to be around you, they're not trying to escape, right? Do they look at you? Do they stare at you? Do they touch you in any way? Are they close to you? Do they flirt with you? All of those are really good signs. And, rarely do they say they miss you, but it happens sometimes.
Yeah. And also notice the way that they speak to you. Are they able to be vulnerable with you about what's going on in their life? Sometimes breakups happen because of some other major loss in their life or other major thing that they're dealing with. So if they're able to, even after the breakup, be honest with you and vulnerable with you about what's going on with them, that's a huge sign that trust and that vulnerability is still there. They might also tell you details that you don't expect.
That's a big one. Exes just naturally start talking about their life again.
Yeah. They might even start talking about their difficulty in dating other people. They might say, you know what, I haven't really found anybody that had a connection like we had. You might start hearing these things, and this might be even closer to after you've regained contact with your ex, after a period of no contact, or I should say after they've reached out to you.
Yeah.
But this communication and the way that they're talking to you hints at a type of longing for how things were, or it could hint, I should say. They might also ask details about your life, who you're dating, what you're doing, if you've seen anybody since, if you have a dating profile. So if you ask, if
they're curious.
Exactly. If they're asking you these types of questions, it does hint at the fact that they're curious about what you're doing with your love life.
Yeah. If they're taking an interest in your life, asking questions about your friends and your family, what's going on. Those are all signs that, they're curious. They want to know what's going on, and there's a reason for that.
Exactly.
Right? They haven't truly moved on, I don't think, if they're still curious and asking those things. They don't have to if they, didn't want to. They could bring up past hurts from the relationship, things that were still bothering them, that they're not really over.
Yeah.
That's telling that they still care. They could ask you about what's going on in your life, or like we said earlier, mentioning future plans about their life.
Right.
That's a big one, because they're revealing things that they don't have to. So, you're kind of looking to see if there's a shift in their attitude, in their affect, in their behavior, in their warmth, and, their general attitude towards you. Are they processing things? Are they now thinking about things differently?
Yeah.
Are they realizing that you were a big part of their life and they miss you? Because, a lot of times they think things are going to go better.
Yeah.
They think they're going to find somebody better, somebody else, and they don't.
Right.
They find that dating is difficult, and the grass wasn't greener.
Yeah.
As a lot of people like to say.
Yeah. And your worry might be that your ex has forgotten about you completely. In fact, we often hear people saying, well, do I have a chance? Is there any way that this can get repaired or that we can get back together? And it's like, how do you look at the signs? If they're looking at all of your stories, if they're liking your posts, if they're doing all the things that we've mentioned in this video, it means that you're still on their mind to some degree. And that tells me that there's hope in the situation.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, if you're not seeing these signs, and if you haven't, you're probably screaming at the computer or the phone right now.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any of these. It's normal. Because to get these signs, it often takes time and space before they really see things and feel this way.
Right.
So don't worry if you haven't seen these things yet. And for those of you that you have, you better double your effort. Double your effort on the personal growth, because the last thing you want is for them to come back and you're not ready.
Yeah.
And I see that far more often than I want to. Guys, I cannot stress the importance of watching the personal growth videos.
Yep.
So many of you are stuck on no contact videos, and you ignore how to have a healthy relationship or signs of a great relationship or how to communicate. Those are the videos you've got to watch, because if you don't really improve in those areas, you're going to wind up getting them back and losing them again. And then you're going to feel really bad.
Right.
So try to have a really well-rounded approach to repairing things and getting your ex back. And that really means improving your skills and working through your attachment issues.
And not only do we have resources about that, we have the workbooks and we have the course, but we also provide a lot of resources in our videos and other types of media that you can look at. I know Margaret always recommends books, and some of you actually in calls have showed us your physical copies of the books she recommends. So I think that's great, and just continue learning about relationship skills and about the research that's out there. People actually study this, and there's evidence to how relationships succeed. So use all of that to your advantage.
You really want to think about how to better yourself in this time, okay? And one of the things that I see is that what you think your chances are is directly correlated to how much work you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you think you've got a 20% chance, you're only putting in 20% of the work. That's not going to be successful for you in the long run.
Right.
You need to do it for yourself. I know most of you are motivated just to get your ex back, but you really need to do the work for yourself, because either your ex is going to come back and you're going to blow them away, or you're going to date new people who are going to be blown away because they're not going to find people that know the things that we teach.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it, okay? Because even a lot of clinicians don't understand the stuff that we teach.
Yeah.
Okay? And you guys who are going to therapy are complaining to us about that often. So stay motivated regardless of what the signs are or appear to be right now. And it will pay off for you in the long run. Okay? Of course, if you want to get our help personally, you can do that on my website, askcraig.net. Sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Coach Margaret is available for Skype coaching. And of course, Coach Victoria will continue to train with us.
I'll be here.
But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to AskCraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.